Awesome. All right. Hey, everybody. Just waiting a second here for a few people to jump on board. And there we go. All right. So, again, hey, it's Tom Scarrella. We're excited to come into your homes here today. And we've got a new friend, and his name is Yash. And so, Yash is Arizonian. And so we're excited to have him. And so many people have contacted us over the years, and they're like, "Oh man, I need another stream of income or another source of income." And so as a result, that's why we wanted to put this together. And so this is gonna be awesome. So awesome, good. Thanks for being with us today, Yash. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm super excited. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Some of the people that are here, do us a favor on the side, just type in where you're watching this from, and we would love that. So, one thing I want to bring up right away is many people don't know this. Obviously, we're from the USA, and many people don't know that over 20% of self-made millionaires do so through the stock market. So 20% of American self-made millionaires do that. So what that does is that tells us there's a great income, so to speak, there. And so many people are going to tune into this, Yash, and they're like, "Hey, I need another source of income." And so tell us about yourself a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Yash, and I've been trading now for 4 years. I've had my ups and downs. I'm currently pretty much trading full time, but I'm also a college student at ASU. So I'm kind of just going through both programs there, and I'm doing a degree in economics. Just to relate well to the market and stuff. But I've kind of traded everything so far. I've done the crypto stuff. I've done the shares. Doing those bio stocks, stuff like that. Those penny stocks. Um, but now I kind of do options trading full time, which is kind of where we capture this bigger move on any sort of move on a stock. You guys are obviously used to buying a share of Apple or a couple of shares of Apple and selling it for, a couple of dollars or difference. But the thing is, with investing, it's great to make wealth and grow wealth, right?
Yeah.
But trading is more so useful to make income. And I feel like those two are two different things. And similar to how you make money in your job and use it to invest, I use trading as my job and use that to invest. So yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. So we've got some people jumping on. Oh, hey, Amy. Good to see you from Springfield, Ohio. Jack is a great friend of ours from Wisconsin watching this. And so welcome you guys. Others, as you jump in, just let us know where you're watching this from. Um, so Yash, you call your system simple. So
Right.
why do you call it a simple system?
So, if you guys have like any like idea about trading or like those movies and stuff you might watch, you guys see these clips from Wall Street, stuff like that. 20 different monitors, all these lines going across the screen and stuff. It's very overwhelming.
Right.
And while that works for a lot of people, I like to as you call it, keep it very simple because I feel like the more stuff I see, the more distracting it is. So,
Yeah.
um, pretty much, I'm not sure if you guys can see my screen right now, but
Let me put that up.
sure, sure. So, I mean, this is how my screens look. I mean, give or take a couple lines here and there, which I might have. I keep it very raw because I feel like at the end of the day, this is the one consistent thing everybody's going to see, these
Right.
candles going up and down, this green and red pretty much. And I call it simple because I base all of the moves I take purely based off today. And I mean, looking just at today, I mean, Tom was with us too, but we just took a downside play from here to here, and it's very simple because people have this idea where trading relates to sitting down at your computer, waking up at like 6:30 and going all the way to 1 or whatever, but it really only takes an hour or 15-20 minutes of your day to really just get your trade in and get your trade out.
Right.
So just a couple like misconceptions people have which make trading seem a little scary to people. But I like to really simplify it down because I've had my trial and error, through these 4 years. I've had, no success for like a good year and a half. But
Yep.
after that, I realized the the less you have on your charts and the less you see, the simpler it really is, and you actually see more when you have less on. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. Very cool. Well, we probably better have a disclaimer on here. This is not financial advice,
Hmm.
just all educational. So just make that clear up front. Hey, good to see you, Jason. Welcome, as well as Sonia. Um, okay, so what are we looking at exactly? Since we're talking about a simple system of trading.
Right.
Now, following you and following your lead today, I made about 20% on
Hmm.
my money. And so
Right.
I saw you were over 30%. So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
we ended up closing it for I think 70%, and we closed it right around here somewhere. Um, and honestly, what I would say is, while it's great when people use me as a secondary source, but at the end of the day, even for me, like when I'm with a community, it helps back to me too. Because no matter how good of a trader you are,
Right,
just having like a community to piggyback off of is always going to help, because you're
right,
never going to see everything. There's always going to be someone, like, aside from even skill set, that an extra pair of eyes helps to see.
right.
So just small stuff like that really, really helps a lot. And I mean, over here right now, we're looking at SPY. For those of you guys who don't know what SPY is, it's pretty much the S&P 500. And you guys are obviously familiar with, companies like Tesla, Apple, Amazon,
Google.
Microsoft, stuff like that. Pretty much what SPY is, it's not really a company singular stock. It's like a weighted average. So it's going to have like, 10, 15% maybe of like Apple, some percent of PayPal. And based on like how those stocks are moving, this accordingly moves off that weighted average. So this is what I trade mainly. But
Okay.
yeah.
And because it's not an aggressive mover, it's pretty stable in one way or another.
Right, right. It has that volatility that we enjoy, but it doesn't have that volatility of, like, realistically speaking, we don't have earnings for SPY, right? Because it's a weighted average. So Apple might have earnings which make it give big moves. Apple might come up with a new phone, or
Right,
their manufacturing might cut down. All of a sudden the stock drops like 3%. Obviously SPY will get impacted, but since it's a weighted average, it's not gonna like have as insane of a move on such news we can't control. Um, on top of that, one of the biggest reasons I trade SPY is because what I do is option trading, like I told you guys, and SPY has the ability to allow you to trade options that have expiration pretty much every single day. And options, the way it works is you can't keep them forever, unlike shares. You can keep it as long as you want, but that's what allows options to move so quick. You can make, like, realistically speaking, this was only a dollar or $2 drop from here, which is like a couple percent if you have shares, but our options move like 70%. And that's pretty much the benefit of options. Of course, this can happen both ways. You can be negative that much percent too, something to
right.
note. But it's just the fact that it has an expiration every single day is much more beneficial than any other stock that has like expirations every Friday, which make it move a little bit slower. So I like that very quick movement, which is why I prefer trade SPY over here. But again, super simple. I'm just looking at my chart purely. Realistically, this is how my chart looks. I just have a couple lines just denoting points we've bounced at in the past. Simple logic. If you think of it realistically, if we're having trouble crossing an area in price, and we
Right.
keep projecting off of it, realistically what we're getting is we don't want to stay at that price. So there's more sellers. So we entered a downside move here. And that's another benefit of options. You can actually play the downside without risking more money than you actually have, versus if you did that with shares, you would have to risk more money than you actually have. So big difference between shares and options. But realistically, I just have these, what I like to call levels, which kind of just mark previous points we've bounced at, rejected at, and we can use that for future essentially too. So
Yeah.
something I love to do.
Yeah, I love
But
that about following you is I love the simplicity that you were doing.
mhm.
So awesome. Very, very, very cool. And so okay, so kind of brings up what is a stock pattern? Yeah.
Awesome. So so one thing to note about traders is, at the end of the day, we are very lazy people. Okay, so in trading, you can almost take any definition as literal as possible. For example, I told you a level, right? It's literally just a level or a line. patterns are exactly what the name is. So a pattern pretty much is just something that's repeating over and over again, and we're expecting similar results, right? So on SPY today, for example, the pattern I saw, and again, super simple idea here is patterns are generally going to be drawn with some sort of line, just the way same way we have those levels. So over here, SPY had this uptrend, again, very simple term. It just means we're trending up. And what was happening is on top of that, we're also rejecting, meaning, kind of bouncing against this level over here. And then once we break this uptrend, we're now in a downtrend, right? So that's where we get a pattern move, and you can see we broke to the downside. And even now, I mean, this chart is live right now. You can see that we're breaking below. So I obviously ended my position, but had I held, we'd continue down for probably up to 100% now. So,
Wow. In a
yeah.
matter of, we're talking about in a matter of an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah. So each of these candles we have here, which we call these like these little sticks over here, are representing 5 minutes right now. So if you look at it on the hour chart, you can see this was just a 1 hour move pretty much,
Sure.
And of course, like one thing I always like want to tell people is options do carry a little bit more risk, It's very important to know that. So anybody telling you, that it doesn't carry any risk, it's just the easy way to make money. They're obviously like not someone to trust. But yeah, because end of the day, there is more risk, but it's a good risk to reward if you play it correctly.
Yeah.
If you trade without reason, in my opinion, is gambling. And that's like the difference I feel like a lot of people have when approaching trading. They have like this understanding of it being gambling because realistically speaking, if you don't have a reason to enter a trade, don't have a reason to exit a trade, you are technically gambling, But
Right.
as soon as you add these rigid quantifiable reasons for like why you're entering, why you're exiting, where you're going to enter, where you're going to exit, all of a sudden now it goes from gambling to more of an educated guess, on a plan, just like anything else. So
Right.
that's kind of how I look at it.
Fantastic. Oh, that's interesting. And so okay, so are there I kind of know the answer what you're going to say because I follow you, but so is there like certain patterns, like, okay, so you just showed that up pattern, it broke through the bottom and clearly just kept going down. So
Right.
is there several different stock patterns that you follow without, diving into the entire system?
Sure. So, pretty much, realistically speaking, it all comes to the same fundamental idea of having our trend lines and having our levels. I mean, realistically speaking, if we want to look at, let's look at something from yesterday. So over here, we have the same idea we just talked about, where we had a uptrend, but here we had a downtrend, and then that combined with a level right here, we get a clear bounce right there. And you can see it pretty much lines. I drew that level just because we rejected here last time. So that now that we're above it, we're likely going to bounce at that point. So realistically speaking, simplifying the whole idea, it really comes down to just, I call it three-dimensional trading. Like I explained to Tom in the past before, but I call it three-dimensional trading because the way I look at it is you have your first dimension, which are just horizontal simple lines, right?
Right.
And then we have our second dimension, which is these trend lines that are diagonal and stuff. And our third dimension we're looking at is how these candlesticks over here and the price essentially is reacting to those levels and those lines, Because if it always bounced at it, always rejected at it, our stocks would just stay in a box, right? So obviously we have to see it kind of make moves against us too sometimes. But the reason we know when it's going to work, or at least can make a highly educated guess that it is going to work, is by looking at all factors of why it's going to make that move pretty much, which is what I look at whenever I enter a trade.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So here's the $1 million question. To do stock trading and stuff, do you have to stay in front of the computer all day long, or
so
what
that's
are some options like phone and all of that?
Great question. So if you have the ability to sit in front of the computer for a little bit, an hour, 15 30 minutes here and there, realistically it's going to help a little bit more to have that bigger screen. But honestly, I mean, like I was like Tom might know, I was sick yesterday and I did all my trading off of my phone just in bed, because I think as time goes on, it's more about comfort. And in the start, sure, maybe for a little bit, it helps to have that big screen, see everything, enlarged. But over time, as you kind of understand the habits of the market and stuff, it really becomes much easier to be like, oh, I can do the same thing on my phone too. And at this point, I enter my trades and exit my trades off my phone. I'm mainly on my computer just so I can kind of live stream my trades and stuff. And that's one of the major reasons I even use my computer half the time. But otherwise, honestly, like me, the way I like to trade, I like to take an hour out of my day at market open to 2 hours maybe. And within that time, just get my trades. Today
Wow.
took a little bit longer. And for me, it was a little bit longer than expected. And even now, like it's currently 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. my time. And I was done around an hour and 30 ago. So
Wow. Just a crazy. I mean, most people, when they think of a part-time job, they're thinking of, you know, 3 to 5 hours a day,
right, right,
punch
right,
the clock somewhere. But, I mean, if you think about it, if you did 10, 15% on your money a day, oh my gosh, I
right.
mean, that'd be absolutely phenomenal. So I guess the other $1 million question is this is how long does it actually take to make money?
So great question, and this is like one of the biggest things I'm talking about with a lot of people because it's the biggest difficulty people have of going into any mentorships or any courses and stuff like that. And I'm never gonna, say to people, oh, if you watch this mentorship or if you go through this mentorship or if you go through this course, you're gonna start making money the next day.
Right.
Because just like anything else, you can have a professor in your, for med school. You can provide the tools, but at the end of the day, you need that hands-on experience to kind of fully understand how it works. So, I mean, I've had people who have become profitable at least by for now until within like a couple months, But realistically speaking, for me, I look at net profitability for anything after a year because given the conditions, given like a streak or something, sometimes people have this thought process where they're profitable, and every beginner actually has this. I tell people, when you think you became profitable is not when you actually normally become a profitable trader. It just happens in the back end because you've gotten so used to not being profitable that you
Right.
don't even realize that you've become profitable. So it just happens in the back. But the one thing I always tell people is I am pretty much all self-taught, and it took me a year and a half to 2 years to become a profitable trader. But personally, if I were to go back, the first thing I would do is find people who already knew how to trade. And back when I started, it wasn't as mainstream for people to be doing as much stuff. I feel like a lot of this has become more prevalent post COVID. But honestly speaking, like that's what would have helped me the most because it's the same idea as reading books. You can
Right.
experience the information, you can experience the events, at 30, or you can read about it and experience some of it in your 20s.
Right.
So it really comes down to just the idea of what is your trade-off, being money or time, pretty much. And in the market, it's both.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay someone, realistically speaking. I've yet to see anybody who is a profitable trader for over 2 years and can show proof that hasn't at least blown up like a couple accounts.
Yeah. That's good.
So
That was good for me to hear,
yeah,
actually.
no, 100%. I mean, I remember when I first talked to Tom, he was like telling me the story about like how his account went. I was like, "Don't worry, this is like everyone's journey." And personally, for me, I do feel like there is some difference though that if you do have a mentor or like some process to learn through, that
Right.
you do become profitable quicker.
Right.
Just because like I go back and I was um, hopping on the topic of the course, I was filming my course and I was just going through it in my head. I'm like, this would have been good to know like a year ago, instead of
Right.
having to learn it. Like right now, the strategy that I've kind of finally finalized on, I back tested it for 6 months, meaning like I went back in the market, just pretty much just dragging the screen back and testing that like 6 months back. And then I tested it live for a year. So then after that, I saw if it would work real time for a year. And finally, it's like, okay, this is the one I'm going to stick to for now.
Nice.
So I've been profitable for a while, but this has been like the most profitable stage for me so far. Just that consistency of waking up, waiting for your setup, your system, seeing it, taking your profits, and just moving to the next day, honestly. So that's kind of what I look for on a day-to-day basis.
So many people that we've spoken to over the years, and because we're ministers and we travel and we speak
Hmm.
in different parts of the world, primarily in the US, um, almost every single part of the country, whatever, Eastern time zone, Central time zone, Mountain, Pacific, doesn't matter. People come to us and say, I need a secondary source of income. I need
Hmm.
another stream of income. Is it reasonable, Yash? Is it reasonable that somebody could say, hey, in a relatively short period of time, you could make a few hundred, 500, $1,000 extra a week? Would that be, with some due diligence and practice?
Sure, sure. No, I definitely agree. So what you guys are gonna see a lot. I mean, you guys maybe have seen it if you're anywhere in the space or your feeds on social media anywhere there. A lot of people like promote their groups as oh, come follow us, make tens of thousands of dollars from your phone, and they'll bring up that one testimonial of that one person who made money in the
Right,
past month. And if you look at the date, it's from like a year ago. But realistically speaking, that's kind of what I do. My whole goal of live streaming is there's two types of audiences. Some people really want to sit down and just learn the whole skill of trading from you know start to finish, and
right,
some people they just want to make some side money, and both are extremely valid in my opinion. Not everybody wants to sit down and learn to trade, and that's perfectly fine, which is why I kind of look to provide something for everybody. I mean, people who just want to make some money trading, of course you need to understand the basics of how to enter, how to exit, the whys and hows pretty much, right? But you don't have to master the art, because that's kind of what I do. I do kind of do the work of where to enter, where to exit, and kind of just tell people where I'm adding stuff, where I'm exiting stuff. I mean,
right.
Tom can probably attest from, attending some of those sessions. It's pretty simple, as in like, I'll just, mention everybody where I'm entering, mention where I'm trimming, taking off a position, part of the position, and then mention where I'm exiting the position. And people can kind of simulate that or learn from it, whatever like they feel like fits them better.
Are you able to, and I don't know if you can do this or not, are you able to show your Discord? Because I want to just share about what your Discord is and stuff like that. Are
Sure,
you
sure. Let
are you
me see
able?
if I can pull that up. One
Yeah, so
second.
just do that. Share your screen, present your screen, and so Yash has got. I keep saying your name wrong. Forgive me, Yash. He's got a link tree. If you don't know what link tree is, it's just a place where you can have multiple different sites, whether it's YouTube. He's got a great TikTok, by the way. His TikTok channel is awesome. Okay, and so he does have a YouTube channel as well. But he also has a Discord. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's like you can kind of peek over his shoulder and you can see, you know, what he's doing today. And so I was watching him this morning and kind of with bated breath, I was doing other things and stuff. And then I would click over to the Discord, and then I would see that, oh, he went and jumped into SPY, like he was telling about the SPY put
Mhm.
that you see right there in front of you. He told us when he jumped in and when he was jumping out. And so,
So should I turn off the current stream and switch it to the?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, sure.
All right. Let's see. So you can go on to his link tree and you can see his Discord and his other things there as well. And
Okay, this should be working now.
there we go.
Okay, so
There
the
we go.
thing with Discord, and the reason we love Discord, is because there's a lot of platforms out there. You have WhatsApp, you have Telegram, you have Skype, you have um, TeamView, a lot of stuff out there. And the thing with Discord is like, in the start, it's a little overwhelming, but the thing is, it allows for so much flexibility, whether that's from programs, that you can connect to Discord. Like for example, down here, I'm able to just connect Twitter news sources and just have them come straight down to our Discord pretty much.
Nice.
And just small things like that really, really help, because, again, news will impact trading. But essentially the way it works is,
That's where I stay right there.
yeah, this right here. Yeah. So this is pretty much where the main action happens. This is kind of where I'm just talking about where I'm entering. You can see all this text over here.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about where I'm entering, where I'm exiting. Screenshots. Sometimes I'll be, in the case that I'm not live streaming, I'll send some charts here just so people have an idea to look at. I mean, what I'm looking at, because otherwise, when I'm live streaming, it's just in front of your screen, just like it is right now. But
Yeah. The
pretty
other
much,
day you
yeah.
had like 130% or something. Just
Yeah, no, and we're like super transparent. I'd say the main thing is transparency, because I feel like that's the biggest issue. And for any of you guys who have any seen any ads in this community and stuff, everyone relates trading courses or trading in general to like something towards a scam, right? And the thing is, as much as some of us get annoyed by it, I don't feel wrong about it either, because that's just how it is. A lot of people are doing scams. A lot of people are lying about their trades and stuff like that, which
right.
is why being transparent is the most important thing. So we have this profits channel, which we pretty much ask everybody to post whether it's a win or a loss over here about how their trade's been. So this guy over here held the trade I was in. He's up 122%. The same trade I sold for 70%. Um, this is one of my mentees I've been working with. $633 a day for him, but he's been averaging like 1K days. He's been doing great. He's gonna surpass me soon, but
Wow,
uh,
that's awesome, man.
but
That
yeah,
is fantastic.
it's it's like, knock on wood, we haven't had too many red days recently, so not too much red you can see here. But pretty much I keep it very simple. If you win a trade or something like that, just come post it. Over here, he caught a 300% trade. And what I love about the community is it's like there's people here who know how to trade. It's not just people who are here to follow me, which makes it 10 times better, because now all of a sudden people are catching moves that I'm not catching. I'm able to see stuff that, again, I wouldn't otherwise see, because
Right,
they see it for me, and it just
right.
makes everything a little bit better. Like this trade over here, I mean, this wasn't even my trade. This was somebody else's called out trade, because we have these channels here, and it's just you're able to bounce off so much information off other people and learn so much, and it just makes
So then it's a
the whole
group
idea of
instead
trading
of
better. Yeah.
just one person. It's a whole group. I like that.
Exactly, yeah. And honestly, for we call this like alerting or stuff like that. For me, doing these tasks makes me a better trader, because since you have to be transparent, it's like it's much harder to put your whole portfolio into one trade and mess up, because if you do that, you're gonna have to go and attest to it.
Yeah,
So just the fact that you have people watching you, honestly kind of help you trade better, if that makes sense.
yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, everybody, if you're interested, you can go check him out on his link tree, and all the details and stuff are there. And yeah, he's really very, very good guy. Very easy to understand. Uh, good, good teacher actually. And just because some guys are really, really difficult to follow, and or ladies as well, and just they can be, because they're so far ahead. It's hard for them to dial it back to somebody
Definitely,
just
definitely.
learning.
100% understand.
But
And
I
yeah.
like too that you help me with just demo account backup, just backup rewind,
Mhm.
demo account, just Webull. Those of you who don't know this, you can go to Webull.com, Webull.com, or you can go to Robinhood.com, or any of these different sites. You can get an account, or like you use, what's it called? Aries?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aries.com is another one. And they're programs that, excuse me, they're apps that are on your phone that you can literally paper trade, and just
Mhm.
follow Yash and the community, and see where you really are. And yeah, so I think it's a great way to learn. And what a great way to have another secondary source of income. And so I really appreciate that your simple system. People are writing in from all over. Let me see. Let's see. Jason asked a question about certain. He wants you to give a recommendation of certain stocks. No, we're not going there, Jason.
That's a great question. I mean, the only thing I would say is, I can tell you what I do. I mean, I don't invest too, like, I don't invest a lot. I'm doing the day trading pretty much. So like, I'm just buying and selling in short spans of time. But otherwise, I mean, for me, all my profits pretty much, because like I'm not really in a situation where I have to financially provide too much. So I mean, I have my daily expenses, but otherwise, I save everything towards SPY. I invest in the same thing I trade because I feel like it's a good investment vehicle. I mean, again, not financial advice, but just what I do pretty much. I invest in anything I use on a daily basis, you know. I use Amazon, I use Apple, I use Costco. So I invest in what I use pretty much.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, so people are watching this and they're interested. Yeah, I really encourage you guys check out Yash's Discord. His Discord's awesome. His TikToks are super informative as are his YouTube videos. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, my friend, and I know it'll really help a lot of people.
No problem, no problem. I highly recommend you guys, if you guys get a chance, to check out the course. Like, even if you feel like you want to do the mentorship, I recommend you guys check out the course. It's a cheaper alternative, and it takes time to learn to trade. And I don't want people who are, you know, new to trading to have to spend, you know, tons of money in a mentorship when they can learn all those basics and in-depth stuff through a course which you can watch over and over again. So if you guys do want to take a direction, that's like the number one direction I'd recommend first. And then after that, if you feel like you need a mentorship or stuff like that, you can obviously go for it. But
Very cool. Very cool. Listen, we appreciate it. Those of you who have never gone to our website, go to our website, sharethefire.org. Be our friend on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of it. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining. And hang out, Yash, afterwards, okay?
sure.
All right. Thanks again.